Hi, Women in Agriculture. A lot of times on these motivational kinds of speeches, it tends to be you are important and what you do is important, so keep it up. But I think that would be a lot easier to do if I was in person with you and I could actually see your faces and really interact with you. So as I thought about how to be inspirational today, I really started just to think about what kinds of things I've been through myself and with my family these past few weeks, and hopefully that can be of some kind of inspiration to you today. So I will share my screen here and we will get started. And I will say that the Women in Agriculture team is one of my favorite things that I've been involved in through Extension, but it's definitely challenging because there's a lot of teams that we're a part of as Extension. So there's the agronomy team or horticulture or the Ohio Ag Manager or our healthy people or healthy finances teams. And those are all pretty well defined because they have to do with topics, right? Like of sources of information and things that people want to learn about and know more about. But when it comes to women in agriculture, it's a people, not a topic. So there's so much diversity and a range of experiences that come with the women that are in agriculture. So this morning, because there's no like cookie cutter woman in agriculture, I'm just coming to you as one woman to another, and certainly not a woman who has everything all together. And I am learning as I get older to stop pretending like I have it all together. But just want to share that I so enjoy working with women in agriculture because of all of the things that you do and all of the interests that you have. And really today is just to say, keep doing what you're doing. I have a couple pictures that I wanted to share, and some of you on the call will recognize yourselves in these. But I have, in the past 8 years, done a few women in agriculture programs in my own county, in Coshocton County, but then also throughout Ohio, and just have myself received a lot of inspiration from you, from all of the things that you do on your home operations and with your families. One of the things that I get to do as an educator is a weekly radio spot on WTNS radio. And what I've started saying these past few weeks as I sign off at the end is to keep cooking, keep cleaning, keep learning, and keep living. So I thought today that would be what I would share with you. So we're going to start with keep cooking. And when we first found out that school was going to be closed and that the kids were going to be learning from home, I quickly started to think about, okay, how's this going to work if I'm working and the kids are home, and they are 10 and 12. So this is a pretty active age where there still needs to be some parent involvement in helping them with their schoolwork. So I thought, part of what we're going to do, I'm going to put them to work for me. So we began doing a Kids in the Kitchen Facebook Live broadcast once a week. And we did that for 7 weeks and really had a lot of fun. The kids learned a lot. I certainly learned a lot. I think secretly, deep down, I have this desire to be a Food Network star, or maybe I did. I don't know if I have that desire anymore after doing this program. But we had a really great time together, just learning some different skills, talking about healthy eating, really focusing on also just having that thing to do once a week, right? That thing to look forward to, because I think one part of these past few weeks that's been tough is that every day can tend to kind of look the same. And so at least that there were some things to look forward to and some changes that could be made. So that was one of the fun things that we had. And we loved getting photos from friends who were enjoying making things with their kids in their kitchens as well, because that's really what it's all about, is keeping that community and keeping that involvement and encouraging people to do these things with their kids. But eating and cooking has a much bigger range than just for children. So one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about today is, how are you doing with that? And how are you doing from maybe not just a cooking perspective, but an eating perspective, because this can be a challenging time right now. Not only preparing food, but watching what we're eating. So one of the things I wanted to encourage you with is to think balance, not sacrifice. When it comes to the finance area, budget tends to be that word that makes everybody groan. And when it comes to food, the word is diet that makes everybody groan. But really just thinking about it more from a balance standpoint. So not everything that you have to give up, but just not going way overboard with the things that maybe you enjoy. So we're going to focus on just 100 calories. If each American could cut back 100 calories a day for 3 years, then the statistics say that would prevent over 57 million potentially fatal cases of heart disease, cancer, and diabetes. So what does 100 calories look like? It would be just a tablespoon of mayonnaise. So if you like to slather it on there, maybe cut back a little bit on that. Give up a few French fries, give up a few potato chips that you might tend to eat a few more. Maybe not having that second glass of wine, just the first glass. Or the balance in that is to say physical activity also burns calories. So a 15-minute brisk walk could equal 100 calories as well. So if you really do need that 8-ounce cola beverage, then make sure that you're getting exercise on the other end to help with that whole calorie balance. And for some of us, emotional eating is a very big struggle, and it may have popped up a little bit more in these past few weeks as we've been dealing with a range of emotions. So, eating is one of the most emotionally charged experiences that we have in our lives. It's tied to a lot of different emotions. So we could be searching for comfort with food if we're running into any of these triggers like stress, boredom, anxiety. So love and anger as well, but especially in these past few weeks, a lot of us have been experiencing the last 3 things, maybe in a different way than we've ever really experienced them before. So what can we do with that? First of all, it's recognizing it and then asking some questions. So from a coping standpoint, you're thinking about eating something, just ask yourself, do you feel hungry? And if you do, then you should eat. And if you don't, then you should not eat, which sounds so simple, but it's hard. So maybe you just think about what are your other options than eating. And one thing you could do is make a list of those other things that you like to do or could be doing. And that list just goes on your refrigerator or goes on your cupboard of your pantry, wherever you might find yourself going to more frequently, just as that mental check and a little bit of encouragement to really think through whether you're hungry or not. And just remember to nurture yourself. So take care of yourself, make sure that you're getting plenty of sleep, and make sure that you're getting physical activity as well. So that's our keep cooking. Next is keep cleaning. So one thing that I had scheduled in March was to do a program with our local library called Declutter Your Life. And I was really looking forward to that program. I've learned a lot of things. So instead, I, in these past few weeks, have tried to put some of those things into practice. And here's my main project. That would be my daughter. Julia is a free spirit. Having things neat and orderly is just not part of who she is most of the time, unless she's really motivated for it. So we tried to have some motivation. And she ended up having a blast doing some real, we had our clutter techniques of what she wanted to keep, and then paring some things down that she could give away. And then we also just threw away a lot of stuff because she likes to keep things that she would call treasures, I would probably call trash. But I can't just throw my daughter under the bus because I have issues with clutter too. So I attacked the garage. As you can see, we have tons of storage. The folks that lived here before are good family friends, and he loved kind of the out of sight whole approach. For me, I would put things behind and then I never could remember where anything was. So you can barely see here, but I got my label maker out and had to label a few of these places because now I know what is supposed to go in there, what is in there. But it took a lot of time just to really think through what made the most sense and what do I need? What do we really need? What can we give away? Putting like things together. There's a lot of great decluttering techniques that are out there. And the reason that I bring this up is because clutter can be a real stress for a lot of people, especially research would say, especially for women, more so than men. And that's just a general, but that's what the research says. So we find ourselves as women oftentimes taking on that responsibility of decluttering. So some tips for success. These are some things that you could incorporate with your family. Use a timer. Plan time for this. Remember that this is going to take time. Don't try to do it all in one day. Break it up into different things. There's a lot of clutter philosophies out there, a lot of different books, and a lot of them will say that you need some kind of an accountability partner, somebody to help you out. Obviously, right now is not the time for that, but emotionally, if it could be just someone that you could talk to or bring in with FaceTime or some other kind of program or Zoom, whatever it might be, and to kind of help you look around and just give you that encouragement that you need, and maybe to help you go through some of these questions. So I love this card because sometimes we just have emotional attachment with things. And this is a good way to break some of that emotion and just to think through it a little bit more logically. This is a link that I highly recommend. University of Illinois has some great decluttering resources there. So you might want to check that out. And these are some really good questions to ask yourself as you're trying to get through the clutter that may be in your life and causing you some added stress. So we've got keep cooking and keep cleaning, and next is keep learning. And I don't have a lot for this section because you're here. So obviously you value learning. You're wanting to get more information and from a reliable source. So I won't go a lot into this because you're obviously right there and valuing it. But I did want to share this picture. So these are our kids, a few of them that have been born here in the past couple weeks. And my son Nathan has, for his 4-H project, 4 goats. And this was our first time to kid. And so we have been learning a lot here with that whole process. And it's also just been, and I think it's just one of the great things about being in agriculture is that you get to see that cycle of life. You get to see the young, whether it's a plant or whether it's an animal, and how that changes over time. And one of the things I love is just watching how these tiny goats, they're born, and then the next thing you know, they're jumping all over the place. It's just kind of crazy how fast that happens. But I sure appreciate their curiosity, and that's something that I want to just keep in my life as well. So the last part that we look at is keep living. So we just are going to carry on through this time. Make sure that you're staying connected to loved ones and to friends. If people aren't reaching out to you, then you reach out to them. You be the one to reach out and see how folks are doing. A time to stay humble, especially for those of us that are living in a household with other people that you may be seeing much more often than you're used to seeing. Just keeping that spirit of humility can help a lot in your relationships. And then back to my goat reference from earlier, just staying curious, wanting to learn, keeping your eyes open. It can help the days to be a lot more exciting as well. So the final thing that I'm going to share with you here are just some photos from some Annie's Project graduates here in Coshocton County. I have had 3 different Annie's projects since 2012, and there was also a class a year or 2 before me as well. So there have been dozens of women in Coshocton County that have gone through Annie's Project. And for those of you that have and are graduates, we're just so happy that you were able to come to this reunion today. And for those of you that haven't participated before, I know you're looking forward to hearing from Gigi Neal to tell you a little bit more about Annie's and why we believe in this program so much. And this was a retreat that we did just a couple of years ago, a weekend retreat, and some of our graduates from that. So the last thing I'll share is just that when we got our stay-at-home orders and we were going to be working from home, schooling from home, we made this once in a lifetime schedule. And I don't really know why I called it that at the beginning, but I'm glad that I have, because it's given me just that perspective that this too shall pass, that we're not going to be in this situation forever. This is just for now. This is once in a lifetime. So we're making the best of it, and I know that you are making the best of it as well. We hope that you will learn some resources today that will help even more with that. From a family and consumer sciences standpoint, we look at healthy people, healthy finances, and healthy relationships, and we have lots of wonderful agriculture and natural resources educators that will be sharing as well today. We just really appreciate that you took the time out of your schedule to participate in this, and just want to encourage you on your journey today. Thanks.